plates are 4850 and the pitch is 45 degrees. So that number is 1.414. So there's two ways of doing this. So the top way is 4850 minus the ridge gives us 4760. Divide that by 2, so we only want half of it, 2380. So now we've got from this line down here to outside the plate.
Yeah.
So 2380 times it by 1.414 is 3365. That is our length of rafter.
Right, so the 144 you get from your chart.
144 from the chart. That's just the cosine of
the multiplier.
But the other way of doing it, there's two ways. That way, it's the overall lesser thickness divided by 2, or half of the span, 2425. Then you take off half the ridge.
Yeah.
So then, just half the span is the centre of ridge.
Yeah.
So 4850 divided by 2, 2425. That's half the ridge. That's only 45. We've got a 90mm ridge. 2380 times it by 1.414. 3365.
Got it. So, okay. Yeah, I think if you can't do that, then you shouldn't be doing the job.
No.
Become a bricklayer.
Which side do you want on the top?
Top, that way,
Oh, you would, wouldn't you? Ah! I love groaning like an old man, don't I?
You do, yes. You'll get an Oscar one day. Dan, this is a very nifty little workbench you got. Is this another of your inventions?
They just don't move around too much.
Right.
Walk past it and I sometimes have a leg down, but just throw them on now.
It's brilliant.
Work on it and it's just...
That's fantastic.
I'll do 4 for a starter.
What he's worried about is not working Imperial. So he don't really want the Imperial square. That's for the American market.
Right, that's that one. Next one.
Oh, I've got this one, Joe.
Yeah. There we go. We got a couple here ready to go.
Oh, sorry, go on.
That's more than enough, isn't it? They don't work in the wet. So our lovely engineer friend has decided that we need a double 9x2 ridge. It's a beast. 9x2s are heavy at the best of times. They're wet, soaking wet. The ridge is nigh on 6 metres long, perhaps a little bit more. So to push both of them up in one go, bolted together, it's not going to happen. So we're going to have to find out a nice little nifty way. I'm sure Daniel's got some tricks up his sleeve for this one, but, so I'm going to hand it over to him, I think.
All right, okay. So you haven't got a sister these, they're not going to be joined, you've got it in one length, have you, the ridge?
No, they've got to be, we couldn't get it in one length. It's actually over 6 metres.
Is it?
Sorry, yeah, it's about 6, it's almost 8 metres I think actually.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because we've got an overhang on the front, so going past the gable. The building in total is just over 10 metres long. We're not coming all the way through because we've got an intersection here from the main house, but yeah, it's nigh on 8 metres long, so we're going to have to do it in 4 pieces, essentially.
So when you cut those rafters, did you allow for the double ridging?
Yeah, well, Daniel did.
He did he?
Yeah, I hope so. No, he definitely did. We'll try a few up before we lift anything up.
Well, I suppose the good thing there, you've got to cut a bit off.
Exactly.
You're not trying to add a bit on,
Yeah, definitely. So we'll offer up a couple of rafters together with 2 blocks of 2-inch stuff. See how it's looking, and when we're happy with it, we're gonna. I think what we'll do is we'll bolt the timbers to one side, lift one side up, then the other side.
So what are you going to bolt them with? I don't understand. What does that mean?
Well, we're going to screw them.
So how are you going to screw them then?
Okay, so first thing, we're screwing the rafter to the plate. We've got some forge fast screws that we're going to bolt them onto the plate first, lift that side up, do the same with the rafters onto the other part of the ridge, lift it up together. They'll drop in nicely together, in theory.
Yeah.
They will. They will, definitely will.
Yeah.
And then we've got some forge fast screws that we can fit in from both sides,
Got
all
it.
the way through. And because it's not in one continuous length, we're having to sort of stagger it.
Yeah.
But these forge fast drive in nice and fast and reasonable price.
So we'll have a little higher, which has got the batten, so it might that's going to run in.
Yeah.
Alright. Or another true story. James is too young, isn't you? For that.
Another true story.
Steve right in the afternoon.
Oh, Steve, he's still on now.
No, he shouldn't.
Sometimes listen to that. When the brick is here, we've got Radio 2 on. And we both sliding over that way, yeah?
Yeah. Really not bad.
Alright.
Yeah. Well, screws are quite faster welded.
James Hospital in a couple of hours.
What is that, a poor man's scarf joint then? That's a good hammer. Is that Ian's?
Yeah. It's like me and my spirit levels.
I'll do it next face till next week.
Oh, I've actually got a hammer here. I should use it, shouldn't I?
Well, I think Ian
Let's just go straight back in
Ian
again.
would prefer you used it than used his battery.
Go on. They are absolutely perfect, every single one. Probably what's not helping is that prop is pulling it over this way. Put this one in, take the prop out, and then bash it around a bit and get the top set out. Oh, nice straight one. There's too much still on it.
Trying to skin a bit more off.
Yeah,
Loads, isn't it?
take it up to you.
100 mil off it.
You're not bad, Rog. 115. Take 120 off. Perfect. That's it. Spot on. I see all the boys on the Festival Talk group. They put an espresso machine in a sustainer with a little thing for all the pods and all that. I mean, come on now.
Dan's brought a square with him.
He has indeed.
Another square.
Another one.
Well, funny enough, very kindly, he sent us Model 1,
Yeah.
Model 2.
Oh,
Now this is a bit of kit. This is really something else.
I just explained to viewers, Daniel invented this square, this is a roofing square, and you made a bit of a modification to
Yeah,
it,
a little
Dan.
bit of feedback and everything. Now we've got all the hip plumb cuts around on the outside arc where it says hip here.
Yeah.
We've got all them, 'cause originally I just had the plumb cuts. When I first invented it, I was unsure how it was going to sell.
And you were a bit worried that it would be too complicated
bit
for...
too much on now
Yeah.
sometimes. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, everyone loves it, and now we've got all the hip plumb cuts around here.
So that one's also got them.
This is it, yeah, it's also got it. I'm just enjoying watching Dan use. I don't know how it works.
Right, so this is a new square roof pitch. This is the main roof pitch. Then round here we have all the hip plumb cuts. So you can obviously, if you do a 40-degree pitch roof there, stick it on 40 up here, and then you have your hip plumb cut.
Right, and just explain to people who don't know the reason why the hip is different. So in this case you're going to be doing a 45-degree roof with James.
45-degree roof on here, and the hip, it's normally between 9 and 11 degrees lower. The hip's always slightly lower, and it varies depending on the pitch, because a few people said why these numbers slightly different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 45 it is around sort of 35 degrees.
That's interesting then. That's really baffles me. So what you're saying is that as the angle of the main roof changes, it doesn't change.
It's not
by
uniform.
the same. It's not constant.
No, it does vary a little bit. Between 9 and 11, I don't know why.
I don't know why. That's going to keep me awake at night. I'm
Pythagoras,
trying to
last
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is really baffling, isn't it? You
It's
think
strange.
that'd be a
You'd
constant?
think it'd be one number, but
Yeah.
no, it does.
Oh.
It does change.
Oh dear. We need a really clever mathematician to explain to us why that is.
Why?
James, you forgot to grunt like an old man.
I was trying.
3365 SL length. Then now any calculations that you do, it's always on the top edge. So we line that up there, and when we drill down here, that is our plate. That's our seat and plumb cut to sit on the plate. Because this is the measurement there. Any
Yeah.
apps that you've got, it'll always be down this top edge. Then you need to plumb it down.
Yeah.
It's no good going to here because that's inaccurate. The square, once it's set up, it's automatically given a bird's mouth. So once we line it up there, mark there, that's it.
Yeah, when I got here for work and she'd been watching them, she said, I want your autograph. I'll tell you what, that ridge is looking nice and straight now, which is just as well.
Yeah, the rafters straightened it out, yeah?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's following the wall plates now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. It's going to be on the money.
Getting narrow through there.
We'll fit this one in. We've worked it on measurements from all of the ceiling rafters along the bottom, and we've got the same measurements marked out all the way along the ridge. We know that position on the plate is our crown rafter position, so we fix that there. We'll fix it according to our measurement up here, but we don't know if it's square yet. So what we need to then do is make sure all of these rafters throughout the length of it are plumb. Once they're plumb and upright, that's the final position.
So you put a spirit level on there, or plumb bob, or what?
I think we might go plumb bob.
I want to see the plumb bob in action.
Well, we'll go plumb bob then.
See the plumb bob in action, yeah, that's one.
So once we know that this is plumb and they're all fixed with a diagonal piece down, we can then cut an identical rafter here. This will be cut off and we can put it straight down to that plate there.
Yeah.
And that will be like a double sure way that we know that everything's plumb and square. You cut this one 200mm longer, didn't you? On purpose. I have to double check my measurement now. These forge fast enough, drive in well. Look at that. Just going to stick a spike in that one. I'll get it. I'm up here.
Yeah.
I'm up here. That's even better for us then. That means we're going to be going further. You cut it down to 200, and then if we need to put a little packer in there, we can.
Yeah. We'll put a double in there, I think, James, and then we get the ridge off of that
Yeah.
at whatever level it is, and the other side it go down, so it just stick up,
Put it down to wherever it's.
and then I'll get the hip in.
It's always a trouble when you're patching into an old existing building, so there's been a little bit of bit here, a little bit there, you know, trying to get it right.
Yeah.
But it's actually come out well.
Thing is, you couldn't strip that roof back very much
Not at all.
to get the line through, could you? Because there's a glass roof
Glass
conservatory.
roof below, the house is all finished inside. And you start stripping it back, you have a sudden downpour like we had this morning,
Yeah.
you could really do some damage. And, you know, the loft's all full up with all stuff, so it's not practical to strip it all off.
So the best will in the world, you just take a punt. You just think that's where it is. That's what we're run with,
Yeah,
and hopefully the tilers will
The tilers are great, they'll get over it.
Those plain clay tiles, they allow a little bit of...
I think they allow a lot.
Yeah.
See the shape of some of them.
Yeah.
No, it'll be fine. I mean, we've got the top and the bottom of the existing rafter exposed. The last one, I've been inside the loft space. They're nice and straight throughout, so it's not like the last one's dropped massively.
Got it.
So, you know, it's going to be fine. It really will.
Or the one in.
Now we're going to fire through, and then
I've got that, and then it finishes at that.
Are you making this up as you go along?
I've got to go and check my book now. On page chapter 3, putting the ridge in.
So that will go to that side of it there.
You're on that side.
So it should drop down to there.
That should be about level. Yeah.
Is that good down on the bird's front?
Hip's going to come down here. We've got a double 9-inch timber, so we've got 2 timbers coming down on the hip.
Double hip.
Double, nice heavy one. So first one, we'll do the old 45 across there, and then I want it 90mm, the thickness of the hip. So
That's it, lovely.
and that should be it's about 90mm. Yeah, I'm just at 90mm. So we're going to cut that off, and then the hip's going to sit on there, down there. Trim this bit out. Right, on the hip, because it's a double, this is the sort of plumb cut we're going to have. It's going to be a big old mitre on there. So we do one hot splay cut per bit of timber, and that's it there. So to get that, we're doing 45-degree pitch. There's a hip plumb cut, 45 degrees what we're doing. You can actually see that it's in real money, it's 35.5 or something. The main pitch of the roof is 45 degrees, and this is what we had it set on earlier. So now we're going to put the hip plumb cuts on it. So around here we've got a scale, and for a 45 degree pitch roof, we put 45 on here for our hip plumb cut, and that will give us the hip plumb cut for a 45 degree roof.
So it's automatically adjusted.
Automatically adjusted, so we pull it on
to
there.
give you the equivalent, and that won't be a 45 degree
And that's not 45.
cut, but it would be as if it were 45.
As if it was 45 for the hip plumb cut. The main roof is 45 degrees, and the hip is always a little bit lower because the hip's longer from the wall plate to the ridge. So because it's longer, therefore it's slightly lower. It's normally around 10 degrees lower. So the hip is always longer, but it's a lower degree pitch from the ridge to the plate. So because it's a lower pitch, it's always longer, and that is why it's a shallower pitch on here. So you don't have to worry about this, because my square's done all the working out for you. It's got all the markings on here ready for you for whatever pitch roof you're doing. So with the square set on 45, the hip plumb cut, I'll put that here, drawn down it, and that's going to be our top plumb cut.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to put the saw on 45 degrees and cut through there to get our bevel cut. It's not 45, but you put the saw on 45, and when you cut through on this angle, it sorts it out and does it for you.
And nobody knows why.
I don't know why. Right, Rog, these are our hip offcuts, and this is what the hip's going to be like. So normally when I'm doing them, if it's a 2-inch hip, I'll leave it 2-inch. But because it's so wide, we're going to cut the angle down there, put a dihedral angle on it.
Ooh.
Because I just think that's just too wide. By the time the batten's come, I like to try and get it a little bit flat on there. So I'm going to offset that up there and draw around it to get me angle.
So you're not going to work it out
I have
by
worked
maths?
it out, but the easiest way to show everybody is just to get it up there and draw around it.
Because it's tricky, that dihedral angle, isn't it? A lot of people don't know.
I've done it a couple of times.
Really?
Yeah, it's very rare, because most hips that I put in, it's either metal or we just put singles in, but that's just a little bit too wide, so you get a nice little cut and get that marked out and start ripping these down.
Therefore, right over the top here. Here we go.
Marking the hip bird's mouth out, this is the important measurement. The height above the plate and the plumb up there. 148mm up there.
Okay, on the plumb, yeah.
So that's what we need. So what I'm going to do now, from me cut there, I'm going to measure 148mm down there on the plumb. Now, I'm going to set that up. And normally when that's squarer, that's sitting hard down, but because we've got a bit of angle on it, it's sitting over a little bit. But basically I'm going to slide that down. So I'm going to keep that flat and down to there, so 148. Now the other thing that we've done, me and James, we measured from our longest point to the wall plate. There's 2 fixed points, I can't change them. But when we first started this morning with the blank canvas, I measured to the top, because that's how the measurements work, but now I'm going to measure to the plate. Yeah?
Let's see it.
4273 round now. Once it meets that line there, then we go down there and down there. Now we might, we should be okay. Obviously we've got the plate and then a bit of block work.
That looks a bit too deep. Is that more than a third?
It is more than a third, it's near a half quite often. All the hip birds' mouths, and because it's shallower and how it works out, it's a bigger bird's mouth.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing, but that's why this is 9 inch. All their rafters are 156 inch.
So it's still
this
big.
is a 9 inch. So yeah, it is a big old bird's mouth, but that is just how it is. You can't. If you had that as a third, you'd have no bird's mouth on your rafter because they'd be up higher.
Got it.
Right, we throw that one in and have a look at it. How's that looking, James?
It's nice and flush with the top of that.
Perfect. That's a little bit long, that one.
No.
Are you there, James? I feel
It could come up to me a little
bit.
bit.
That's good, yeah. I've got about 10 mil or...
Oh, no, maybe not that much.
Yeah, that's it.
That's nice there.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah?
How's that angle? Looks a little bit out, doesn't it?
No, it's spot on with that bit.
Yeah, the diagonal one.
That's fine.
You turn it over now.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm high there, so
Yeah,
we get along this nice strategy, but yeah, man.
it's fine. Pretty much.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Check that bird's mouth out with us. Do them first. What's that, sorry?
You want to cut them jacks in?
Oh, yeah. Are we all going to do them or should we jump on that?
I think I want to get on that early so it's in the heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit back here.
Okay. Not that much.
Yeah, put that a bit back.
If we cut 130 mil, I'll do 45 up there.
I'm thinking that we're at that height on them ones. Is that going to matter that we're not up there?
No, just go.
I suppose it only matters equal pitches if you're putting bonnet valley tiles in.
Yeah.
But if we're
That's why
putting
you
a
want them equal pitches, or I mean, you can change them a bit, but you want them similar pitches.
Yeah.
Because the tiles in.
So these are lead valleys anyway.
Oh right. Okay.
So it
you've got
doesn't
that
matter.
plate, Right. 3 metres 10.
3 metres 10.
Right, I'll cut one back 3 metres 10. We'll go with that. Run them out there at 4s.
Yeah.
And then labelled on it and pitch up off that.
Yeah. Elite performance wood screws. Just another 5 of those, Dan.
5.
And then we want maybe a short bit down there.
I want to make my loft into a bit of a space to play with my train set. There's certain things you've got to think about, aren't there? Like the triangle is very, very important. So what's going on? Just give us an idea of the structure, how it works.
The way the roof works, obviously, you've got this triangle. That's fine. That's where your tiles are. The water runs off either side. Obviously, you've got all the weight of them tiles on that roof. So the tendency is that if it's not strapped together across between the 2 points at the bottom, it's going to slip like that. The plates are going to slip off the wall, and the roof's just going to collapse. So it's very important that they're tied from side to side. And we quite often put a collar in at the top here, which holds that in as well. On modern roofs, that's probably usually as much as we go to. On this one, in fact, we're putting a post down the middle every 2 metres. But because we tend to use these 6x2 joists now, they're a lot more substantial, and they don't tend to sag in the middle like old roofs do. So if you were thinking about maybe converting the loft space that you've got in your old house to have your train set or whatever you want to have in there, you'll probably find that you've got what we call a purlin that runs through about midway. So basically that runs through, it picks up on every single rafter, and then every, say, 4 feet there'll be a prop or purlin support that comes down onto a spine wall. Of course, if you want to play your train set, that's causing you a problem, but it's really important that you don't cut them out, because that is supporting your, you cut them out, your roof starts to sag, you get leaks, the rafters start to fail. It might take a long time, but it will happen.
And I suppose snow loading is probably the most extreme, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, obviously you've got all the weight of the tiles already, be it clays or concretes. I mean, majority of the time it's going to be concretes, because a roof would have been replaced over time. But there, you had all that snow on top of it as well, and then we're talking an extra load of weight there.
And that's a bit of an issue, isn't it? If you take a slate off a roof and you replace it with concrete tiles.
Yeah, it is, because when a lot of the Victorian properties that were done with slate, obviously slate is fairly lightweight compared to a concrete, say a Redland 49, which was a very popular tile, made in 1949.
Oh, was it? Oh, not many people know that.
Yeah, someone told me that the other day. Oh, it was you. Yeah, so, but, you know, that's quite a heavy tile in comparison. You know, probably 3+ times the weight. So then you've added all that extra loading on that roof then, which was never designed to take that amount of weight. Then you put snow on it, then someone cuts the purlins out because they want to play with their train set. The next thing you know, the roof's in the bedroom.
Yeah, and I think even if it just goes a little bit, it's very hard to bring them back again, isn't it?
It is. I mean, funny enough, about a year or so ago, Ian and I had a little job of converting an old outhouse. It was quite a big outhouse, actually. It was like a storeroom. It used to have a toilet in it, but it was separate from the house. And we converted it into a dog grooming parlour. And they'd had, the roof on that, it was a pitched roof, but it had, I don't know what it originally would have had. It was definitely not concrete tiles. It was probably a 1930s build, perhaps a little, yeah, around about 1930s. But whatever it'd been replaced with concrete tiles, and the joists had sagged like you wouldn't believe. I mean, they were like bananas. And the client didn't want to pay to have it stripped off and redone because they couldn't afford it. So in the end, what we did is we built another roof internally underneath it, and then supported everything off of that, and then strapped the side, because it was pushing the walls out and everything. We had to strap it all back and everything. But yeah, I mean, and that was only a very small roof. So you could imagine on something that's like 4 or 5 meters long, all that pressure on those joists, and they still would only be 4x2s. But once you remove those supports, they're there for a reason.
So when you say we're tying this roof together at the bottom of the triangle, that's just what, these things down here, yeah?
So these are, so in the bedroom downstairs, this will be the ceiling. If this was a loft room, this would be the top of the floor. But it's holding this building together. It's keeping those two walls. We've got this wall plate here, and we've got a corresponding one on the wall over the other side. So this ceiling joist or floor joist, whichever it's going to be, that's spiked down into that, fixed down nicely into that. We've got the rafter is also spiked into that, and they're also spiked together as well. So all loads of connection points there, and it's all pulled together tightly. So there's no chance of that pulling apart.
Yeah. You sometimes get people saying, oh no, we always have to put straps in as well, metal straps.
Yeah, we still do have to put the lateral straps in. They still ask for it. It's usually, well, we put them on the gable wall, and I think that's more for the wall. We have to put lateral wall straps down on top of the plate, and then down the block work every 1.2 metres.
Some people want like a truss clip, don't they?
Yeah.
Where at the
where it's
like
to connect
simple
to the
strong
plate.
tie, where the actual rafter is joined to the plate with a clip, a metal clip, rather than.
In my opinion, it's a truss clip. So if you're using a truss rafter roof, you use a truss clip. On this style of roof, we do our bird's mouth, and we nail it down. It's all spiked together. We got nice tight cuts on it all. There's not going to be a problem with that. You look at the main house, if we go in there and have a look at their bird's mouths, they'll all be exactly where they were, because no one's removed any of the props in there.
Okay, another thing we get, James, is people saying, oh, you shouldn't just nail a roof, you should screw a roof together. You know, they think the nails aren't strong enough to do it.
Yeah, that's been a debate over the years, actually. A lot of people have questioned why you use nails. It's an old-fashioned thing, nails. We've got screws, they drive in fast, they're nice and strong and tight. But the problem with screws is, especially in the past, is that they're very brittle compared to a nail, which is fairly mild steel. You can bend it around and it's not going to snap. Whereas often you'll find a screw in the wrong position can easily shear and snap. As technology progresses, we've been using these ones, and they've got a bit more give in them. And funny enough, we drove one in yesterday in the wrong position, had to take it out. The head had sunk in, I couldn't get it out. I was trying to snap the back off, it wouldn't snap. It took me ages, it kept bending around. So the technology's progressed. So, and even down to these forge fast screws where they replace the coach bolt. And a lot of building control authorities will allow you to use these instead of bolting through. So these are great, and they also have that slight flexibility in them. We're now finding that in more and more cases, we will always use nails to construct a roof because it makes sense, they're flexible and they'll move with the roof, 99% of the time. But now we're now finding we can start using screws in some positions where necessary.
Yeah. The great thing is, I think yesterday, those screws came into their own when you had to pull the thing together, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then you drove them in and you could see it pull the whole thing tight.
You're not going to get that with a nail. All you're doing with a nail is just driving it and holding it together. But we put these in at the top. The ridge was a bit tipped on one side and cupped on the other because we got a double ridge plate going in. We drove them in, it just pulled it straight together, both sides. And then we went around afterwards with nails as well.
There.
Yeah.
How's it looking up there?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, you've got another bit.
Ian's fitting in all the Jack Rafters, so as the main roof pitch is 45 degrees, we put the square back on 45 degrees, and then we've got the backing which is already set up, like the height above plate, and then the bird's mouth is set again for all these Jack Rafters. His height above plate is obviously the same as all the main rafters here.
Yeah.
And in the top cut, we've got a 45 degree cut as a plumb cut, and then if we lay the saw over on 45, that gives you the perfect cut. It's not, that angle's not 45 degrees, but when you cut through at 45, as you can see, it does give you a nice cut.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's strange.
2 bits there you could use for jacks. Yeah. Maybe actually not that one because you've done your short one now.
You got a long one there?
Yeah, I've got one.
You got one on the scaffold there.
Yeah. Well, you need to down there as well, do
We need a couple. Well, we cut the long one already.
Right.
2 long ones, and then the rest of them are. There's only 2 or 3 short ones. There's a bit here we can use for a short jack. I think it'll probably be close enough. I mean, we doubled up this one, which we weren't going to. Yeah. And there's a one screwed on the underside of there, on the diagonal.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I think we'll be all right.
So when you worked out how much timber you needed, James,
yeah,
did you do it off a drawing?
Yeah.
You just took it all off a drawing?
Yeah, pretty much. And I took it off the drawing, but I did add a few as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I allow for them being twisted and a bit all over the place.
For me cutting wrong.
Well, for Dan cutting them wrong. Have you noticed how I haven't cut any timbers yet? So I can't be blamed for cutting any wrong. I'm not cutting anything, mate.
Now that I'm using that new square, so good, so simple to use.
The very last one, the little tiddler. Beautiful, mate. That's how we do it.
Oh, that's acceptable.
We're going to get PG Tips to sponsor the next one.
Yeah, we want a Yorkshire tea. That's
Yeah,
what we
PG
want.
with that.
Anyone can use it, so that is the thing. It makes it a lot more simpler.
Yeah.
And I'm now getting bricklayers that are buying them.
Really?
Saying, I can't wait for the chippy to come along, and it's a a straightforward roof, and it just makes it easy for them. So I've sold quite a few to like general builders and bricklayers,
Right.
and they're pitching their own roofs.
If a brickie can use it, Roger could use it.
Steady on, boys.